Hello YouTube. Welcome to the great experiment and my messy kitchen. What I intend to do today is either make a fantastic mess or a homemade MRE. It could go either way. So let me tell you what we're doing here today. Okay, I've got 2 pounds of cut up. I cubed up this. Let me get back away from it. I'll use my old knife here as a pointer. Right here is 2 pounds of chopped up chuck roast. And this one I have approximately 3 ounces of white rice, dried, uncooked. And this one I have 2 ounces of dry, uncooked rice. A little bit of water, garlic powder, cayenne pepper. Yes, I like things a little spicy. And some beef bouillon. Oh yes, and tomato powder. This is tomato powder. I made it by dehydrating my excess tomatoes from the garden. I dehydrate them and then put them in the food processor and just turned them into a powder. Alright, those are going to be the ingredients for the canned. What I'm attempting to do, what I'm going to do when I get the tripod set up, I'll come back, is I am going to cook the rice and let the rice itself soak up the juices from the meat and expand. And we know that rice expands quite a bit, but I'm attempting to do it all in the jar. Everything uncooked. We're going to cook it inside the jar and hopefully come up with something that in an emergency you could just open the jar, heat it up, and eat it. Or eat it cold if you wanted to. In effect, it'll be a homemade MRE. This is my first attempt. Like I say, it's either going to be a big mess or a big success. Let me put this on the tripod. Actually made this before, so you're here for the big experiment. First, let's do this one here. I'm going to throw the meat, about half of this meat. That's about half. In there, we'll do the small jar first. First with the meat, before I put it in the jar, I want to season it up. So, there goes the garlic powder. Just a pinch of cayenne, not much. There's the bouillon. I'm going to let that cook in there because the juices will come out. The bouillon will also act as partially a salt, but we're still going to have to add a little bit of salt. Use the kosher salt here. It's non-iodized. Little pinch of salt. Mix all that together. Get it all stuck to the meat. Then I'm going to put the rice in. Because I want it to mix throughout the jar. I don't want the rice just to be on the bottom. I want to kind of mush it into the meat. I mean, it will be a little bit in there separate. So I'm going to get the jar here, put it in, over, and put all that rice and mixture in the jar. Pack it in. And seeing as there's rice in there, I want to leave a little bit of headspace. You notice there's a little bit of air pockets in there. But, there we go. That ought to be good. There's one mixed up. Now the next one I mix up here will have a lot more rice in it. So I'm going to leave some of the rice in the jar. A little bit on the bottom. And let's throw in the meat here. The rest of the meat. And this one I'm going to do with the tomato. A little bit of tomato powder. A little bit of garlic. A little bit of bouillon. Dash of cayenne. Pinch of salt. And get the rice and everything all mixed throughout the meat. Of course, like I say, this one here is going to have extra rice in it. I'll have to actually, as you'll see here, I'll put some meat in, push it down, grab a little bit of rice, sprinkle it in there, put some more meat in. Well, I'm going to have to sprinkle a lot more rice. See, that's why we call this an experiment here. Never been done before. Get this up here like this. Just get some of that rice in there. Put some more meat in. Okay. A little bit much there. So, make sure it's packed in. Take a couple of pieces of meat out there. Make sure we got a little bit of head space in there. And there we have it. Overestimated a little bit. Let me put a little bit of this rice in on top. That meat will juice up. Hopefully that rice will pick up some of that fat too that's in it. Alright. I'm going to let me pause it here. Alright, basically what we have here is 2 jars of meat and uncooked rice seasoned. This one here has about twice as much rice as this one. The object is that the rice will soak up the meat juices and flavorings so that when you pour it out, you would have a complete jar of something that you could just pour on a plate and eat. Rice and meat, very high protein. This here is actually 2 pounds of meat in these 2 jars, so there's quite a bit of meat in this. And like I say, this one here has about 3 ounces of rice in it, and this one has 2 ounces of rice in it. So let's jar it up. I'll put the jar lids on there. Brand new jar lids. Probably don't have to for an experiment because they won't be sitting very long. Notice, if you ever see a jar lid do this, that means it's lost its vacuum. Of course, these have never been canned, so it doesn't really matter yet. Put that on there about hand tight. Now the lids are used. These, not the lids, the screw tops, they can be used. Don't matter, you can use them parts over and over again. So what I'm going to do is put them in there. Let me take you off of the tripod here. Get this thing here going. Alright. I see I only got a little bit of water in there. It's not boiling yet. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's close to boil. So I want to put the jar in there. And another jar over here. You can see I've got enough room that I could do a bunch of them. Okay. It's not quite full enough yet. But like I say, I wasn't doing a whole thing. So I'm going to add some more water. Here, I use a bigger thing. Told you it was a mess. But all great scientists, you notice their laboratories are quite messy. So I must be kind of like Einstein here. I will, like I say, I'll either blow everything up or come up with something real good. I don't do nothing halfway. It's either a total mess up or a complete success. So here we go. Let's put a little more there. Just up just about right there. Right level. And I'm going to go ahead, because I know when it starts to boil, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it. Let me put you back on the tripod here while I fasten that lid down. Alright. Now this has got a type of a bayonet mount on it. You got to find its little niche there. There it is. And when you find its niche, you'll feel it lock in. I just put a brand new gauge on this and new rings.